Today, we're going to break down one of the biggest ideas out there, living in the present moment. But here's the thing. Is it popular just because it's a deep philosophical truth? Or is there a very specific data-backed trick that made this ancient wisdom go absolutely viral in our modern world? Let's find out.
Okay, let me ask you something. Does your mind ever just feel relentless? Like a non-stop storm of thoughts, constantly dragging you back to the past or shoving you into a future you're worried about? Yeah, I think we all know that feeling. And it's exactly the problem that living in the now claims it can solve.
To really get a handle on this, let's start with a really simple story. It's a parable that just perfectly captures this struggle that we all go through.
So, meet David. This guy's mind is a total mess. It's always spinning, always full of regrets about yesterday and anxieties about tomorrow. He can't sleep, he barely smiles. Sound familiar? He's living everywhere except right here, right now. And frankly, he's exhausted.
So David goes looking for help and finds this wise old man. And the man gives him what sounds like a super simple task. He hands him a lit candle and says, "Walk through the whole village. Just don't let the flame go out." That's it. No complicated instructions, just this one single focus.
So David starts his walk, and his entire world, his whole being, just shrinks down to protecting this one little flame. He's shielding it from the wind, walking carefully, and for the first time in forever, his mind goes totally quiet. He's so focused that he doesn't see the beautiful sunset or hear the birds. When he gets back, the wise man asks him, "So, what did you see?" And David's answer? "Nothing. I was just protecting the flame."
And boom, there's the lesson. The secret to a peaceful mind wasn't some big mystical secret. It was right there in the task. It was about guarding his focus on the present, just like he guarded that flame. See, when your mind is completely absorbed in the now, there's literally no room left for the ghosts of the past or the fears of the future.
Okay, so this old story gets a massive modern upgrade with the spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle. His book, The Power of Now, became this huge global phenomenon because he gave this ancient idea a new language for our crazy, busy lives. At the heart of Tolle's teaching is this one core concept, presence. And it's not just about, being physically here. It's about being aware that you're here. It's that state of deep focus on what's happening right now, without getting sucked into the constant chatter in your head.
This chart really lays out the two different modes we can live in. On the left, you've got the egoic mind. That's kind of our default setting, right? Trapped in thoughts, always comparing, always suffering. But on the right, you have presence. This is about being rooted, observing your thoughts instead of being them, and just accepting what is. It's a total game changer.
And this quote right here, this is the key that unlocks the whole thing. The huge realization that you are not that voice in your head. You're the silent, still awareness that's listening to it.
Tolle also talks about this really interesting idea called the pain body. Think of it like a little shadow self made up of all your old, unresolved emotional pain. And when something happens in the present that pokes it, it wakes up and takes over, causing these huge emotional reactions that don't really fit the situation. The only way to dissolve it, he says, is to shine the light of your presence on it when it shows up. Okay, so we've got this really profound philosophy. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. Now we have to ask the big question. In a world where everyone is shouting for our attention, how did this specific idea cut through all the noise and go viral? That's what we're diving into next. Is it powerful just because it rings true? Or is there something else going on in how the message is packaged? To figure that out, we need to switch gears from philosophy to media science and look at the actual data behind what grabs our attention. So first, we need to understand a crucial term, the video hook. In the world of endless scrolling, you've got maybe 3 seconds to stop someone's thumb. That opening moment, that hook, is literally everything. So what kind of hooks actually work, especially in this self-improvement and coaching space? Well, a recent analysis gave us a really fascinating peek behind the curtain. Researchers at a company called OpusClip went deep. They analyzed a massive data set. Get this, more than 333,000 video clips, all from the coaching and self-help world, just to figure out what makes us stop scrolling and listen. And the results, well, look at this chart. It's not even close. By a long shot, the #1 most effective technique is what's called the shock or surprise hook. It's an opening that's designed to jolt you, to challenge something you believe, and to make you go, wait, what?
Here is a perfect real-world example of that hook in action. A statement like this immediately grabs you because it goes against everything we're taught to believe. It flips a common idea on its head and forces you to stop and process it. It's a pattern interrupt.
And this table just hammers the point home. Look at those numbers. The shock/surprise hook isn't just one strategy among many. It is the dominant #1 strategy used in over 128,000 of the clips they analyzed. The data couldn't be clearer. If you want to get attention in this space, you say something bold and shocking.
And this is where it all clicks into place. Tolle's central, most powerful message, "You are not your mind," is the ultimate shock/surprise hook. For most of us who have lived our entire lives identifying with our thoughts, that statement is radical. It's jarring. It stops the scroll not just on our phones, but in our actual minds, and it forces us to pay attention.
So what's the big takeaway here? What do we do with all this? Well, it gives us two really useful toolkits. One for managing our inner world, and another for understanding the outer world that's constantly fighting for our attention. For your inner world, the tools are actually really simple and practical. You can bring yourself into the present moment anytime. Just take a deep breath, feel the sensation of your feet on the floor, listen to the sounds around you without putting names to them. These are little anchors to the now. And for your outer world, the big takeaway is media literacy. Now, when you're scrolling and you see a video that opens with some wild, shocking claim, you can see the technique for what it is. It doesn't mean the information is bad, not at all, but it means you can be a more conscious consumer, knowing how your attention is being hooked.
And that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. Is an idea like living in the now so powerful just because it's true? Or is it because it's also packaged in a way that perfectly hacks our distracted modern minds? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this one.